Namaste, namaste, and welcome back to Wednesday morning yoga for our summer term. And we're going to start this summer term with a class that's a little bit gentle to ease us back into bits and pieces, but also to do with spiraling and twisting and exploring the sides of the body and the muscles that wrap around it. So we're going to begin by standing up because why not? We're there already. So it's taking your feet a comfortable distance apart. Doesn't matter if the feet aren't pointing directly straight. A little softness in the knees, a little firmness in the belly muscles, and then just gently twisting from side to side. Here, allow yourself to find your way into your yoga space again. So you can do this movement at the moment without awareness in the body too much. Just allow it to bring your mind away from the busy things that are happening outside of your yoga space. Bring it to this moment and this time and this breath. And then begin to feel what's happening in the soles of your feet. The skin on the soles of the feet and the response to the changing of the weight of the body, the changing of directions. Feel how your hips are feeling. The shoulders and arms nice and relaxed. Allow your head to follow your movement. And then if you want to, you can pivot on your toes. So you do a little bit more of a twist through the legs. And as you do that, perhaps feel the sides of the body across the hips, into the torso, over the legs. How does this movement feel? Can you feel it as it wraps around the body? And perhaps you can add a little bend of the knees in the center, a bend and twist. Perhaps touching the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip behind to increase that sensation of wrapping or twisting across your torso. And we're just taking things really easy today because we've all had a break. And so our bodies stiffen up just a touch. Whenever you're ready, you can let your bounce go. And then allow your feet to find a little steadiness and allow your body to lose that momentum a little at a time until you're back to standing steady. And when you come to standing steady, closing the eyes or gazing gently downward, just taking a moment to feel that difference, the difference of the body in stillness, the breath, changing, adapting. Checking that your face is nice and relaxed, the jaw relaxed, the shoulders relaxed. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. And we'll take the fingertips onto the shoulders. And we'll just do some nice circles with the elbows. So you can start small. And those sort of smaller movements are quite good for discovering the intimate connections with our body. And then as you explore a little bit further, perhaps making your elbows circles a little bit broader or wider or fuller, seeing if you can maintain that awareness of what's moving in your body, what's supporting, where your space is, where your stiffness is. And then reversing your circling into the opposite direction. You can start small or big, whichever you feel drawn to do. You can use your intuition here. Allow your body to direct some of the movements, or all of them, in fact. And then when you've done one more circle, just allowing the elbows to rest down by the side, the arms to rest down by the side. Feeling a little heaviness there in the shoulders as well. And we'll take our chin towards the chest. Just feeling a little length down the back of the neck, across the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, and rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder, the chin back towards the chest, and the left ear towards the left shoulder. And going from side to side. And again, this movement has that wrapping, twisting, lengthening sensation in it. So see if you can feel and discern where you're feeling that, where the connections are, where your muscular structures wrap around the face, the neck, into the shoulders, the chest, the back. And if you want to, you can circle the head all the way around. Try to avoid taking the head back or dumping the weight of the head back behind the body. Circling if you are in both directions. And remembering that all of the instructions are just guidance, so you don't have to do any of the things that are suggested. When you come back to center, bringing your head back to a neutral position, just taking a moment to feel the head in neutral, to feel the awakening, the energy down the sides of the neck, maybe into the face. Relax your jaw, swallow. Perhaps it's useful to open the mouth and just wiggle the bottom jaw from side to side. Which always looks a bit funny, but there we are. Okie dokie. So we're going to bring ourselves down onto the mat for a little bit of awakening of the spine and the hips, and then we'll move from there. So in any way that feels good to you, you can come all the way down to lying on your back and reaching the arms out to the sides. With the feet on the floor and the knees bent, take a moment to just allow yourself to arrive in this new position. And we're going to develop a little deeper breath here. So on your next exhalation, gently drawing the navel in to help exhale as fully as is possible without strain. And then breathing deeply, feel the ribs press down behind you, expand out to the sides and above the body. Draw the breath up into the chest and the back, upper back. And as you exhale, exhale slowly, making sure your face is relaxed, your tongue is relaxed, and drawing your navel gently in at the bottom of the breath. Let's do a few rounds of this deeper breath. Breathing into the sides of the body, the back, the chest. And as you breathe out, breathing out slow, long, deep, and complete, using that gentle engagement across the navel. Breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Filling all the spaces as you inhale and slowly releasing, relaxing the face, the shoulders, drawing the navel gently in. We'll do 3 more breaths like that. And after your next exhalation, just allowing your breath to find any natural rhythm. It can stay in that deeper rhythm if it feels good to you. And we're going to bring the knees into the chest one at a time, resting the hands onto the knees and just gently making circles with the knees. Now to begin with, we're going to have the knees apart. So the knees can fall towards the outside of the body. They don't have to be over the hips. And just circling the knees so they go in the same direction. You feel that massaging effect of the weight of the body on the floor, rolling across the tops of the buttocks, across the lower back, perhaps across the sides of the back a little as well. Going in the opposite direction as well. We're going to do a series of postures here with the knees apart, and then we'll do them with the knees together as well. So let's just do a couple more rotations in this direction. And then in the center, floating your feet to the floor one at a time, 1 and 2, so the feet fall apart as well. We're going to bring the elbows down towards the sides of the body and engage the pelvic floor a little, the navel a little. Press the elbows down, the shoulders down, the back of the head gently down. Feel the chest is almost lifted as you press the elbows back into the floor, and then raising the hips as you press into the heels, engage the buttocks to come up and releasing down. If you want to, you can coordinate with your breath. You can breathe in as you lift up, keeping that engagement in the upper body all of the time, and breathing out as you release down. We'll do 3 more like this. Inhaling up and exhaling down. If you prefer, you can exhale up and inhale down. Just move with the breath that suits you best. This is the last time. We're going to come up and hold, but not hold our breath, and then wiggle our hips around. So we're circling the hips like you were doing a hula hoop, keeping a little bit of engagement in the belly muscles, feeling the buttocks fire one and then the other, circle in the opposite direction as well. And then coming to the top of your movement and gently releasing down. Take the arms out to the sides just to relax the shoulders. If you need to, you can gently roll your head from one side to the other. And then the feet are still nice and far apart. We're gently going to sway the knees from one side to the other. So we're just beginning to tap into those more precise rotations and wrapping and twisting motions. Allowing the knees to come a little deeper into that twist with every new exploration as we sway from side to side. The next time your knees are over to your right side, just allow them to rest there. And for a moment, take a deep breath in. See if you can take a deep breath out and just allow the upper body, the chest, and the face to relax. Very good. Engage the belly, bring the knees back to the center. Allow them to go over to the left and rest wherever they get to for a deep breath in. And as you exhale, softening the shoulders, the face, the chest. Coming back to the center, drawing the knees back to the center. And we're going to bring the knees to the chest one at a time. But this time have the knees together or close towards each other. They don't have to be absolutely pinned together. We're not trying to be rigid here. And again, with the hands on the knees, making little circles with the knees going in the same direction. And perhaps you can feel the difference between the parts of the body that access that contact with the floor between this and the wide leg version. Let's take the knees in the opposite direction as well. And at the moment, we're doing relatively large circles, but we're also going to come back to the center, to stillness, and then make tiny circles. So with the hands on the knees, just making the smallest circle, probably imperceptible or nearly imperceptible to anybody watching. And we're trying to access contact with the back of the sacrum. So that space that connects the two hips, that's the bit we're trying to massage. Let's go in the opposite direction as well. So by the time we've done all of these variations, we'll have massaged across the whole of the back of the pelvis, an area of the body that really needs a bit of TLC. Okay, so we're going to take the feet to the floor one at a time. Feet are together and or together-ish, legs are together-ish, arms down by the sides, elbows pressing towards the floor, pressing the upper back towards the floor, sorry, the backs of the shoulders towards the floor, the back of the head towards the floor, and then engaging through the buttocks to lift the hips up and gently lower. And we're just doing a few of these. So a bridge with the feet close together, the knees close together, the thighs close together, still using the support of the upper body, just gently lifting and lowering. And we'll do one more, lifting and lowering. And as you bring your hips down, relax your arms wide, keeping the legs where they are. And we're gently going to roll the knees to one side so the opposite foot comes off the floor and coming back to the center, and roll the knees to the opposite side. So a little bit of a different sensation in this twist. If you keep a gentle engagement across your navel, you'll feel that wrapping sensation come into the hip that's away from the floor, into the side of the body. So as you roll to the left, it's across the right side of the body. And as you roll to the right, it's across the left side of the body. Brilliant stuff. We'll do one more to each side. And then we're going to come back to the center. And here, we're going to bring the knees towards the chest so that the feet are off the floor. We're keeping the knees together. You don't have to be too concerned with alignment here. So if it's more comfortable for you to have your knees towards you, that's fine. If you prefer to have your knees over your hips, that's okay too. So wherever is comfortable for your back, arms still relaxed away from the body, and then engaging much more fully with your abdominal muscles and keeping the legs towards each other. Just allow the knees to rock from side to side. So you don't have to get to the floor. That's not the object. The object is to do a posture, a movement that feels stable and secure. So you can feel that you're supporting all the way through. There's nothing pulling in your low back. There's nothing feeling vulnerable, because you've got the strength of your core. And you can use your arms pressing into the floor as well for a little bit of leverage, a little bit of support. Very good. Now, if you feel that you've got space to do it, next time your legs come down on your right side, allow them to come all the way down and relax your left shoulder towards the floor. If your left shoulder feels very far away from the floor, you can relax. You can release your left hand towards your buttocks rather than keeping it up towards your shoulder. And here we're just feeling how it feels to be in this position. Maybe it feels good to look towards your right hand or your left hand, it doesn't matter which. Just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're going to extend the left leg towards the right hand. And then as you bring your left leg back, you're going to bend the left knee, collect the right knee, and come back to the center. So that you use that little lengthen of the leg and bending it to create momentum to come back to the center. And then from the center, releasing your legs over to the left side, the knees to the left, relaxing the right shoulder into the floor or dropping the right hand towards the buttocks a little to help. You can turn your head to the right, turn it to the left, whichever feels most comfortable to you. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. And we're going to extend the right leg towards the left hand. And as you bend that knee, collect the left knee and come back to center. So that's the next movement that we're going to do. I'm just shifting on my mat so that I stay on the screen. So we're going to do that, but with momentum, so more dynamically. So if you're not sure, just watching or listening to the instructions, we're going to start in the center, engage the abdominal muscles nice and firmly. Draw the knees over to the right, extend the left leg to the right hand, bend the left knee, collect the knees back together to the center and roll over to the left. Extend the right leg towards the left hand and come back to the center, bending that knee, collecting the left knee on the way. So we're going side to side like a pendulum, swinging from side to side, using that lengthen and bending of the top leg to create momentum to go from side to side. So a little bit from side to side. And hopefully that's beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable. Try if you can to keep the opposite shoulder relaxed towards the floor, but don't worry too much about it. I tend to snake down my mat, so I'm getting closer and closer to the meditating man on the drapes as I rock down the mat. So the next time you go over to your right side, you're going to lengthen your left leg towards your right hand, and then take your left leg towards the bottom of the mat and sit up. And I've shifted so much that I've come this way. Now I've ended up the wrong way around because I've been doing my real legs instead of the wrong legs. So let me just turn around so I can do it the right way for you guys. So knees are up, you come over, swing the right leg, and then to the bottom of the mat using the hands to sit up, and you end up sitting with one leg bent in front of you and the left leg out to the side. So almost like Janu Shirshasana. Okay, so I will shift myself into the middle of the mat here. And we're going to take cactus arms, so bent at the elbows. We're going to bend the left knee a little and then rotate, so spiral ourselves towards the left, taking the right elbow towards the left knee, maybe just a touch of a forward fold there. And then we're going to unspiral, lengthen that left leg, place the right hand down behind us and come into a baby wild thing, opening up the chest and then releasing back down with the hips onto the floor. So we'll take cactus arms, bending the left knee, spiral towards the left knee with the right elbow, maybe a touch of a forward fold as well, that sort of sensation of wrapping. Unspiral, taking the right hand behind us, lengthen the left leg, press into the right hand, into the right shin and foot, come up into the baby wild thing and back to center. We'll do just one more. Cactus arms, bending the left knee, spiraling. Unspiraling, lengthening the left knee, right hand down, firm buttocks, firm belly, baby wild thing, and returning to the center. And then from here, we're going to slide the right hand along the floor, roll onto our backs and come back into that position where we had the knees bent over the hips, arms out to the side, lying on our backs. And you guys stay there while I just shift myself around in the opposite direction. And we're going to draw the knees down to the left side, extend the right leg to the left hand, and then draw that knee back in and collect the knees up. So we do our pendulum action from side to side again. So a little bit of pendulum action from side to side. And then now we're going to the right. And this time, as we let the knees come over to the left, we're going to extend the right leg towards the left hand, and then extend the right leg towards the long end of the mat and press ourselves up into sitting in Janu Shirshasana on this side. She says, adjusting clothing as needed. So as you come up to sitting, taking the arms into cactus arms, bending the right knee, and we'll just do a gentle twist towards that knee. Left elbow comes to the knee, sitting up, lengthening through the right leg, left hand down behind you and coming into a baby wild thing, sweeping the right arm up and over and then back down with the hips towards the floor. Cactus arms, bend the right knee, spiraling twist towards that right knee, pressing back to the center, extend the right leg, left hand down behind you, lifting up and over, baby wild thing, and back to the center. One more time, we're bending the right knee, spiraling as we sort of twist and fold, bringing the left elbow across, coming back to center, lengthen the right leg, left hands down, reaching up and over with the right hand, baby wild thing, and return to center. And when we return to center, we're going to slide the left hand along the floor and lie down onto our backs, coming back into the original position, knees into the chest. And here we're just going to hug our knees a little bit towards us and make any movements that feel good. So it might be you need a little bit of rock and roll, or you might want to keep the toes together, the knees apart, and make some circles here, which is quite a nice thing to do as well. So whatever feels good, take a moment to just find your way. And then when you're ready, we're going to rock backwards and forwards through the length of the spine, rocking from the sit bones to the shoulder blades. Maybe balancing a little on those sit bones as we come up. And then arriving in a cross-legged position or a sitting position or kneeling position of your choice. And as you do, bring yourself to stillness again. Rest the hands. Allow the body to find support from whatever's on the floor and allow the spine to find its way upright. Soften the face, relax the jaw, maybe swallow deeply, relax the shoulders. Eyes closed or gazing gently downward, just taking a few breaths, allowing the body to absorb the information we've given to it, feel the effects of your practice. And then when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. And we're going to come into hands and knees for the next section. So just bringing yourself up onto your knees, if that's comfortable. I'm going to adjust clothing as well, because we just have to do that all of the time. Yoga is so wriggly. And we're going to come to hands and knees, and we want to, perhaps before we do that, we should just prepare our wrists a little bit. So you can kneel up or sit up or do whatever feels good to you. Interlace the fingers and then keeping the elbows close to the body, making figure of eights with your interlaced hands. So you feel the wrists are moving in that figure of eight position. You can go in both directions. A lot of what we're about to do is on the hands or on the wrists, and sometimes that can cause people a little bit of discomfort if their wrists are not sufficiently prepared. So from here, we're going to relax the arms and just lengthen the left arm forward with the palm upwards and use the right hand to draw the little finger back towards the body. So the inside of the elbow is up, the arm is lengthened, the left shoulder is relaxed, and we're just stretching or encouraging that little finger back towards the top of the wrist, top of the arm, which is underneath the body. And we'll do the same thing with the ring finger, or the fourth finger, I guess. And then with the middle finger, just pulling backwards to open that space on the inside of the wrist. And the first finger. And the thumb. And then the whole hand. So using the whole of the right hand to draw the whole of the left hand back towards the body. Soften the shoulder. You don't need to lock your elbow rigid, but sometimes maybe lengthening through that inner elbow space will help that sensation of length, as long as you're not forcing. And then gently relax. We'll give the left wrist a shake. Good job. We'll do the same thing with the right. So palm facing upwards, lengthening the right hand in front of you. Inner elbow is facing upwards. We're going to use the left hand to draw the little finger of the right hand back towards the body underneath the arm. So stretching across the front of the wrist. And then the same with the ring finger or the next finger. And the same with the middle finger. And you're not looking for a really intense sensation, you're looking for the finding of space. And the next with the first finger. And with the thumb. I find my thumbs a little less comfortable in this position. And then with the whole of the left hand on the whole of the right hand, and you can press the heel of the right hand away, soften the right shoulder. You can even lengthen through the inner elbow if you want to a little, but don't hold it in that really lengthened position. Maybe create a little softness in the elbow as well. Deep breath in and out. And then gently releasing and shaking out both wrists. Fantastic stuff. So now our wrists are ready. So that stiffness or lack of length on the inside of the wrist is sometimes what causes it to be uncomfortable when we're doing hands and knees for a little while. And we're going to come to hands and knees now and trying to find a stable place. So my wrists prefer to be slightly in front of my shoulders. Yours might prefer to be directly underneath. And the knees can be directly underneath the hips. That's all good. And we're just going to begin with a cat and cow. Oh, sorry, we lost Morag, I think, but she's back. Give me 2 ticks. There we are. So we're just coming back to, we're coming to cat and cow. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Morag, if you can make sure you're muted, that would be fantastic. And we're very pleased to have you back. And then here, we're going to gently lift the chest and look forward. And then imagine we're dragging the heels of the hands backwards, a little softness in the elbows, and see what happens, how that opens the chest a little bit more. And then pressing through the hands to round through the spine, lifting the back of the body up and drawing the chin towards the chest. We don't want to tuck it super close towards the chest, lifting in the belly muscles at the same time, finding that space between the shoulder blades, and then coming the opposite way. So we're not coordinating with our breath, we're slowly exploring our way into the space, breathing all of the time, keeping the jaw nice and soft, elbows can draw backwards, chest can open, and then pressing through the hands, pressing through the fingertips as well, to round through the spine, lift in the belly, find space in the back of the body. We'll do a couple more like this, coming forward, but as we come back, we're going to press through the hands and hover the knees off the floor. So we're resting on the back, the tops of the feet and lifting as well, engaging the core muscles just a little bit more. Release the knees down as you look forward in your open cow position, shoulder blades moving towards each other. And then rounding into cat, lifting in the belly, just hovering the knees off the floor as you press into the heels of the hands, tips of the fingers, tops of the feet, and engage the muscles of the abdomen strongly. We'll do one more like that. Looking forward, opening the chest, rounding through the spine, hovering the knees. Mine are getting further away from me. I'm shifting them back in and gently releasing down. And then from here, we're just going to take a little child's pose. So hips to heels, slide the hands forward, turn the palms upwards and the forehead to the mat. Take a deep breath in, relax the fingers, relax the shoulders, the jaw. Deep breath out. One more deep breath in and deep breath out. And then we'll turn the palms back down, come back to hands and knees. And I'm just going to adjust curtains for a moment so that we don't get this shady bit happening in the whatnot. It's all about the light and the camera. There we are. Okay, so here we're going to explore our hands and knees position, but just as we would if we were sitting at the beginning of the class. So we're going to begin by moving the head from side to side, a little bit like we do with our neck rotations at the beginning of the class. So you can make circles with your head, circles with your neck, and as you do that, perhaps you feel the shoulders want to engage with that as well. They want to join in the movement, perhaps the sides of the body as well. So allow that wriggling of the neck and the head to travel into the shoulders, the chest, the upper back, the sides of the body, across the pelvis perhaps a little bit as well. Find a little stability in your abdominal muscles so that you feel that security, that you can move in any direction from your strong center. And feel free to move a little bit the hips back towards the heels perhaps, or out to the sides. Soften the elbows. Take the chest away from the floor towards the left, the right side, towards the floor. Explore whatever movement comes to you and whatever your body responds to, wherever it tells you to go. Listening to the body, wriggling out any stiffness, exploring the connections through the back of the body, through the sides of the body and the front too. And then we're going to bring ourselves again into child's pose, taking the knees wide and the toes together. Keep the right hand on the floor and slide the left hand underneath the body. So you take the left shoulder to the floor, the left side of the head to the floor, and reach the right hand even further away from you to see if you can get a sense of really connecting downwards. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're going to slide the right hand back towards us. Sorry, left hand back towards us. No, right hand back towards us. I told you I'd muddle my lefts and rights. Come back to the center and do the same on the opposite side. So sliding the right hand underneath the left arm, reaching the left arm away, keeping the right shoulder, the right side of the head towards the floor if you can, using a block of course for support if you need to. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Perhaps you can even feel that wrapping of the muscles around the back of the right shoulder. Slide your left hand towards you. Bring both hands to the floor as you come back to center and press back into your hands and knees position. We're going to again set up ourselves with the knees directly underneath the hips, hands towards directly underneath the shoulders. I'm going to start with my left arm first because it's the one facing you, and I'm going to reach my left hand back to my heels. My hips can drop back to my heels as well, and then reach the left arm up and over in a big circle. So I'm circling the left arm. I can look at the left hand, or I can move my torso, my neck, my head in any way that feels good, dropping the hips back and forwards if I want to. I can keep the hips still if I prefer. Whatever feels good as you make circles, exploring that movement, a little bit of support in the right hand, and then going in the opposite direction as well, keeping the hips still if you prefer, or you can move your hips backwards and forwards if it feels like the right thing to do. I'm going to do 2 more in this direction. And then the next time you've got your arm up into the ceiling, reach it far up, and then we're going to thread the needle. So we're going to take this left hand and slide it underneath the body between the right hand and the right knee. And as you do, you might want to move your right hand forward away from your face towards the top of the mat. So you've got a little bit more space there. We're going to stay here for 3 deep breaths. So relaxing as much as you can in your face, feeling the support in the belly muscles, feeling that delicious lengthening across the back of the body, breathing deeply. And then when you're ready, you can slide the right hand a little bit closer to your face for support. Press into that right hand, come back to center. And then in your center, we're going to bring the knees towards each other, stretch the left leg back behind you, and first extend through the heel. So you're just extending through the calf, through the back of the leg a little bit. And then we're going to take that left foot and slide it to the right as well. So sliding the left foot to the right behind you, and then looking to the left leg as it's behind your right side. So you get a little bit of extra length down the left side of the body. And here you can extend into the left heel again and just see if you can feel a little bit of softness in the elbows and the shoulders as you use leverage of your arms to feel that sensation to the point that feels good for you. And then we're going to bend the left knee in behind the right knee and walk our hands a little bit towards the left. So we're almost squaring up again, but on a diagonal on our mats. And take the hips back towards the heels, but they don't have to get there. So we're not, the object is not to sit back onto our heels, it's to extend through the spaces across the hips and just wiggle the hips from side to side. Or perhaps wiggle your chest from side to side if you feel that's where the connections are that are most useful for you. We're just exploring. For our first class back, it's just a bit of fun, really. And then we're going to press the hips away from the heels, walk the hands back to the center, uncross the legs and come back to hands and knees. And we're going to do the whole thing on the other side as well. So starting with our arm circles, you can drop your hips towards your heels, reach your right hand back behind you, up and over. And as you move the arm, perhaps you want to move with the hips, or perhaps you'd prefer to keep the hips still and move more with the shoulder itself. It doesn't matter which of these you choose, maybe a combination of the two, a little bit of exploring of both. Whenever you're ready, reversing that direction and allowing your head and neck to move as well, and allowing your shoulder and your left supporting arm to be nice and soft. Doing a little combination of both moving of the hips and not, if that suits you. The next time you've got your right arm up in the air, stretching it up, 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 and then threading that right hand between the left hand and knee to thread the needle with the arm. So reaching the left hand a little bit further forward, so it's away from your face to give you a bit more space, but also a little bit of leverage here. So softening the face, but maybe engaging a touch across the navel, using the arms for a little bit of extra sensation, if that feels like it's useful for you. At the same time, just taking some deep breaths, relaxing the jaw, holding here for another 2 deep breaths, because we've been here a while. Then you can slide the left hand back towards the face, press into the left hand, come up to your hands and knees again. And from hands and knees, bringing the knees towards each other to stretch the right leg back and extend through the right heel. So first pressing into that heel just a little bit. And then we're going to slide the right foot around behind the left hip and look towards that foot. So you're looking to your left and feeling perhaps a little length down the right side of the body. And again, you can press into that heel for a little bit more sensation if that feels good to you. You can use a little bit of leverage with the hands. Don't do too much. We're not looking for a super intense sensation. We're just looking for an exploration. And then bending the right knee behind the left knee, walking the hands a little bit to the right so that you've squared up in front of your knee, diagonal on your mat. We're going to release the hips back towards the heels a little bit and just find a nice rocking motion. So we can move more with the torso with the support of the hands, or we can wriggle across the hips a little bit more, or a combination of the two, whatever feels good to you. So it can be a pulsing in and out, side to side. And after all of our wide-legged work last term, this maybe feels quite nice to do something different. When you're ready, you can walk the hands back to center, lengthen the right leg, bring it round to your hands and knees again. And here we're going to sit back onto our heels, adjusting the clothing, interlace the fingers, stretch the palms of the hands up over the head. So we're lengthening the arms over the head, lengthening into the palms, feeling that stretch across the wrist like we did earlier. And here, drawing a circle with the palms on the ceiling. Now, if it doesn't feel so comfortable to have the fingers interlaced in this way, you can hold elbow to elbow or wrist to wrist over the head and get a very similar sensation, just not the stretch on the wrists. So we're making a circle over the head and allowing that circling to happen in the upper body. So a little firmness in the belly muscles for support. And then circling in the opposite direction as well. I find it really hard not to undulate the whole spine, so trying to feel that sense of it happening above the waist. And then we can explore a little bit deeper, so maybe coming into a side bend a little bit more. And then coming into more of a forward bend, turn the palms of hands towards you, the backs of the hands away. Feeling the forward bending in the upper back, and then taking it round to the opposite side, side bending, turning the palms wherever is useful. And maybe back bending, opening the chest, lengthening the arms a bit more. And so you can make your circling a lot bigger by coming into those shapes. Maybe we do a couple of rotations in this direction. And going in the opposite direction as well. Or you might feel that you're better served by stopping where you've got a little bit of stiffness and just seeing if you can breathe into it. Whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands back to the center, separate the arms, float the arms down, and we're going to take a little child's pose here as well. So hands back towards the heels or the ankles and folding forward over your legs. If you prefer a different variation of child's pose, that's okay. Try to choose one in which your shoulders can feel really, really super relaxed. Relaxing the face, the jaw, softening the tongue. And if you feel inclined, you can sigh as you breathe out to release any effort, any tension. And you can do that a couple of times as it suits you. And then whenever you're ready, coming back up to kneeling or sitting if you prefer. It's okay if you prefer to do sitting. Please excuse me while I do a little bit more adjusting. And I just need to consult the plan. Very good. And we're going to come back onto hands and knees as well. So giving your wrists a little roll if they need a little roll. Hopefully all of that stretching that we did with the arms up has helped. And then coming onto the hands and knees, we're going to bring the knees together. We're going to work with the left leg first. So here we're going to lengthen the left leg back behind us. I like to tuck my right toes under, but that is entirely up to you. You can press down with the top of the foot if you prefer. We're going to lift the left heel up as we look forward. The leg is lengthened. There's no bend in the knee here. So we're opening the chest, we're firm in the belly, and we're going to draw the left knee to the right elbow underneath the body for a little twist and round of the spine. So that sensation of the muscles wrapping around. We're going to lift the left heel in, try to lift the center of the back, lift the belly, and then lengthen the left leg behind us, open the chest, lift the heel up, but the leg is nice and long. So we're going to do that a few times. We're going to exhale as we draw the left knee to the right elbow, and inhale as we lengthen the left leg behind. Exhaling knee to elbow, Inhaling, open. Let's do one more. Exhaling, knee to elbow. Inhaling, open. And then we're going to take that foot to the floor and slide the left foot all the way around to the left side of the body so that it is lining up a little bit with the right knee, but doesn't need to be exact. And then here we're going to move the right hand underneath the head so it's more centered on the mat than out to the right side. And now we're going to do our arm circles again. So in this position, we're circling the left arm, and you can press into that right hand to create an opportunity for the chest to open and rotate. And you can take your left arm as far around behind you as feels comfortable. A little firmness in the belly. We're going to go in both directions. So reversing the rotation of your arm. You can keep your elbow as soft as feels comfortable, moving with your head as it feels natural to do so. And we're doing one more rotation to finish with the left arm reaching up. And then here, we're going to slide the left hand across the back of the body to reach towards the right hip. And then pressing into the right hand, opening the chest as much as feels comfortable. You can even catch hold of your waistband or your right thigh or your t-shirt just to create a little bit of leverage to move that right shoulder head back behind you. Open the chest, looking up or looking sideways or looking down as it suits you. Don't keep your right arm too rigid, just a little softness in the shoulder and the elbow. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then we're sliding that left arm back up to the ceiling and bringing the hand back down to the mat. We're going to make the hands underneath the shoulders again. And then we're going to slide the left leg all the way round to the right side, just as we did before, looking to the right, to then use a little, tucking the toe under, lengthen into the heel, and then use that, press off that, use that to bring the left leg, all the way around to the outside of the left hand. So here we've got the left foot outside the mat, and we're in a bit more of a lunge position, a low lunge. And we're going to come up onto the fingertips or onto the wrists or onto blocks if you prefer, and circle our hips. So we're making hip circles, hula hoops, just as we did at the beginning of the class, but in a different position, in our bridge position. Circling in one direction and then a hula hooping in the opposite direction as well. Very good. And I'm going to spin around on my mat so that the next bit that I show you, I'll be able to face you guys in the right direction. Okay, so then you're going to inch our left foot towards the center of the space between our hands. And from here, we're going to firm the feet into the floor as if you were pressing them away from each other and bring ourselves into an upright position, an upright lunge. Very good. Okay. So at the end of last term, we did a nice flow with a series of postures. We're going to do that again here, a similar sort of flow. So watching if you would like to first. So the first thing we're going to do is from this upward lunge, we're going to bring the weight of the hips forward and reach the hands forward and up in a big circle. We're going to do one, the arms reach behind us, and then we're going to do a 1.5. So a half to finish reaching upwards. Then taking the arms into cactus hands, cactus arms, we're going to rotate to the left. So we twist towards our left knee. And then from here, we're going to untwist, take the hands to the floor on the right side of the mat, twist the feet towards the long side of the mat. We're going to lengthen the left leg, bend the right knee, and then lift the right arm as we twist in a surfer squat and a twist at the same time. So those are our shapes. We're going to come out of the surfer squat, return to the lunge by turning both feet towards the left. So we end up in our lunge position. Hands can be down. And then we're pressing into the feet to lift the arms up, open the chest as we bring the hands down behind us. We're going to do one more, reaching up, and then cactus arms in the lunge, firm belly, firm buttocks to twist to the left. Return to the center, take the hands down to the right side of the mat, pivot on the feet to turn to the long side of the mat, left leg long, right leg bent, left arm underneath the right shoulder, underneath the left shoulder, and reaching the right arm up. You can pulse here if you want to. And then come back to the center. We're going to pivot on our feet to the left to come into the lunge again. One more time. So pressing into the feet, reach the hands forward, opening the chest as the arms come back behind us, firm belly, firm buttocks. One more time, reaching forward and up. Cactus arms, twist to the left. Return to center, twist to the right, pivot on the feet as you rotate, lengthen the left leg, bend the right knee, left hand underneath the shoulder as you twist to the right, reaching the right arm up to the ceiling. And then we're going to untwist, come back to the lunge, and then place the hands either side of the front left foot and step into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we're just doing a little paddle. Very nice. And I am going to shift myself around on the mat, the opposite direction, so that when I do the next side, it is pointing in the right direction. And from here, we're going to take a little waving vinyasa. So you can either do this with the knees off the floor or with the knees down. I'm going to do the first one with the knees down. So dropping the hips towards the heels and then pressing off the toes, rounding through the spine. As the chest comes over the hands, imagine you're dragging the heels of the hands backwards to open the chest. Knees are supported by the floor, elbows are bent. And then pressing through the hands, rounding through the spine, hips towards the heels. Well, I'll do one with the legs straight as well. You can do whichever variation you prefer. So knees bent to drop the hips towards the heels, pressing off the feet, rounding through the spine as the shoulders come over the hands. Imagine you're dragging the heels of the hands backwards to open your chest, soft elbows, soft knees, and then pressing up through plank or through bent knees back into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to release the knees to the mat and just take a moment in child's pose or kneeling upwards if you prefer, kneeling upright even if you prefer, for a little breath in and out. Soften the effort in the wrists, soften the effort in the face, the shoulders. Adjust your clothing as necessary. And when you're ready, coming back to your hands and knees. We're going to have our knees together and we're going to do the whole thing on the other side. So we're going to start by lengthening the right leg behind, pressing through that heel and then lifting the heel up as we look forwards. We're opening the chest. We're going to draw the right knee to the left elbow. So it's a little bit of a twist and round. Press the mat away, scoop the belly in, lift the right heel towards the buttock as well. And then inhale as we lengthen the right heel out behind us, lifting the heel, again engaging the buttock and the belly muscles. Exhaling, rounding underneath, knee to left elbow. Inhaling, long leg. Exhaling, knee to elbow. Inhaling, lengthening the right leg. Exhaling, knee to elbow. We're just doing one more to inhale here. Exhaling, knee to elbow. And then lengthening the right leg, taking the right foot to the floor, swinging the right foot around so it's out to the side, almost like a gate pose, around about the same height up the mat as the left knee. And we're going to, I've forgotten which arm I'm supposed to do now. We're going to move the left hand underneath the head And make big circles with the right arm. Excuse me, having a little bit of a brain moment there. So we're making big circles with the right arm, keeping a little softness in the left elbow and shoulder. You can reach the right arm as far back behind you as feels comfortable. Moving your head, your torso, your neck as is natural. Going the opposite direction as well. A little firmness in the belly here. And just creating a little sensation of lightness so that you don't feel that all of the effort is in your left arm. Next time your right arm is up, you're going to reach up and then slide the back of the right hand across the low back towards the left thigh or left hip. You can catch hold of something if it feels comfortable and use that leverage to open the left shoulder backwards, pressing into the left hand, into the fingertips, but keeping the elbow a little softness in the shoulder too. You can look up, sideways, down, whatever feels good for you. We'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then from here, we're going to reach the left arm back up and bring the hand down to the mat. Take the hands back to underneath their correct shoulders and slide the right leg back behind us so that we look to the left as the foot is behind us. Tuck the toe under and just extend into the heel of the right leg. Find that bounce. And we're going to, from here, swing the right foot all the way up to the right hand, just outside the right side of the mat, for a little bit of hula hooping on your fingertips, on blocks, or on your fists, just to take the weight out of your wrists, the effort out of your wrists. Very good. So we're hula hooping with the hips in this direction. We're going to go in the opposite direction as well, keeping that connection with our hips, with the sensation of movement of the femur bones in the hips, of the pelvis and the spine working together. And then when you're ready, you can inch your right foot between the hands so that you come into more of a classic lunge. We're going to press the feet away from each other to give us the strength to bring ourselves upright in our lunge position, adjusting clothing as needed. And then we'll do our 1.5 circles of the arms and come into our little flow on this side as well. Don't worry, I'm going to talk you through it. So we're going to bring the hands forward, leaning the hips forward as well, reaching up, looking up, and then taking the hands down behind us, feeling that undulation through the spine as well. One more time forwards and reaching up. And then we take cactus arms here and rotate to the right. So we're upright for a rotation to the right. Unwinding, we'll take the hands down on the left long side of the mat, pivot on the toes, lengthen both legs, move the right hand to the left side, lengthen the right leg, bend the left knee, and reach the left hand up. So we're in a little surfer squat. You can pulse here, hips up and down a little bit if you choose. We're going to unwind ourselves, hands down, rotating the feet to the right to come back into our lunge. The hands are down to begin with. Press into the feet, reach the hands forward, reaching all the way up. Firm buttocks and belly as the hands come back behind us, and then reach forward and up one more time to bring the arms to cactus hands, or cactus arms, rotating to the right, and then unwinding the spine, taking the hands down on the long side of the left of your mat, rotating the feet to that side, and then lengthening the right leg, bending the left leg, reaching the left arm, up. And take a pulse if you want to. We're going to unwind, hands down on the long side of the mat, rotate the feet back to the front, press into the feet, reach the hands forward and up, firm belly, firm buttocks, arms back down behind us. One more half rotation with the arms to reach up, find cactus arms, rotate to the right, unwind, taking the hands down to the long side of the mat, pivot on the toes, lengthen the right leg, bend the left leg, reach the left arm up, right hand underneath the chest. Take a little pulse. And then we're going to unwind back to our starting lunge, but this time taking the hands down either side of the foot, tucking the back toe under and coming into downward facing dog. So take a paddle in your dog here, maybe turning your head from side to side, doing anything that feels good. Maybe you want to drop your heels to one side, take a bend and a stretch, and to the opposite side for a bend and a stretch. And then we're going to take a pigeon pose. So from downward facing dog, taking your left leg up, so you come into a three-legged dog, soften the right knee so you can bounce on that right knee, bending and lengthening the right leg. And that gives us a little bit of leverage to then draw the left knee forward to the left wrist and the left foot forward to the right wrist, or in that general direction. And we're going to slide the back leg, the right leg back a bit, tuck the toe under, keep your right knee bent, and we're just gently bobbing from one side to the other. So we're shifting the weight of the hips side to side in our pigeon pose here, just exploring for space. Make sure that it feels good in your knee. There's nothing twinging there. And then in the center, simply lifting the right knee up and down from the mat to the floor. From the mat to the floor. That sounds all kinds of wrong. Up and down from the floor. And then when you're ready to find your pigeon pose proper, you can tuck the back toes long, center yourself between your hips. And if that feels good, that's great. And if it doesn't, you can simply drop the left hip to the floor. That's not a problem. And if you want to, you can find your way forward. If it feels too stretchy, then that is no problem at all. Stay upright. So you can come down onto your forearms if that feels good. If you want to, you can lengthen your arms a bit further away from you. I prefer not to do that these days. Don't like to overstretch the bits and pieces that have been overstretched in the past. But wherever you get to, taking a long deep breath in and out, softening the jaw, the shoulders, the chest, the face. Just finding that gentle sensation of length across the left hip. In your own time, you can pad your hands back towards you to come to an upright position. And we're going to bend the right heel towards the right buttock. And you can catch hold of it either with your left hand or your right hand, or you don't have to hold it at all. You can simply bring the heel in and away. Be careful if you are prone to hamstring cramps though for that one. So if you can catch hold of it, or catch hold of your trousers, or use a belt as you choose, then just drawing that right heel towards the buttock a little bit more, perhaps gently pulsing in and out to feel the effect of lengthening the hamstrings. You might want to also wiggle your right foot from side to side. Sometimes that feels good. And then we're going to gently release, taking the right foot to the floor, both hands to the floor, press into the hands to lift the hips so you can slide yourself back into your three-legged dog, lengthening your left leg up and rotating your foot at the ankle a few times in each direction. Before taking your left foot down, taking the right leg up and bending the left knee to bounce on that left knee a few times, lengthening the right leg up, and then drawing the right knee forward towards the right wrist, the right foot towards the left wrist, and sliding backwards with your left leg if it feels good. Keeping the left knee bent, just begin with gently rocking the hips from side to side. So it's an active pigeon. That's what we call this variation, an active pigeon where we're supporting more with the muscles of our pelvis rather than just dumping our weight in between to create a passive stretch. And then in the center, up and down, knee away from the mat and back down again. And all of these actions allow us to find the space to feel more comfortable in the pose when we come into it. So whenever you're ready, you can tuck the back toes flat, relax a little here, and if it still feels twingy on the right knee, you can take the right hip to the floor. And that's where I'm going to hold for this side, but you may prefer to be more centered, it doesn't matter. You can stay upright or slide yourself forward onto your forearms, or even lower with the forehead towards the floor or towards some support. The further away from you your hands are, the more intense this posture tends to be. So choose a variation that is not so intense that you can't hold it, and relax your face and your shoulders and your jaw and your chest. Take some deep breaths here. Whenever you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you. And we're going to bring the left foot towards us, and you can catch hold of it with the left hand or the right hand, it doesn't matter which, or you don't have to hold it at all, or you can hold onto your trousers or a belt. We're going to draw the left heel towards the buttock, just pulsing it in and out, or holding if it feels better. And you can do a little swaying from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, releasing that foot, taking the hands down either side of the front knee, lifting the hips, taking your right leg back up into your three-legged dog variation and rotating your foot at the ankle a couple of times in this direction, and then the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, you can float that foot to the floor, take a couple more paddles through your down dog, and in your own time, find your way down onto your mat for a little moment, seated cross-legged. And as you sit, closing the eyes, feeling the support of the parts of the body that are on the floor, see how easy it is to find length in your spine. Now that we've rippled through the whole of the body, released tension, found space. Give yourself this moment to allow the body to absorb all of that information. And then when you're ready, gather yourself for relaxation. So putting on warm clothing, warm socks, warm blankets, getting your bolsters, if you would like bolsters underneath the knees or cushions. I'm going to gather the usual suspects here. And so relaxation is the most important part of our yoga class. And you don't have to, there's no good at relaxation. There's no end goal with that in terms of, there's no gold stars for falling asleep on the mat. What we really want to do is active relaxation, where we don't have, we don't fall asleep, but we're still nice and relaxed and still in our bodies. But this part of the class really is so important. Otherwise, we're just doing gymnastics, really. So, whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself into a lying down position, and you might want to start with the knees bent, doing a little bit of pressing of the low back down into the mat, or knees into the chest, hugging them towards you, making some rotations, some massaging action. And if, as you come to lie down, you find that space in the low back is not feeling so comfortable, it doesn't have to touch the floor, but in fact, it very rarely would touch the floor in most people. But if it feels uncomfortable, lift it away from the floor. If you feel like there's some tension there, just engage the belly muscles and press the low back down into the mat and hold it for a couple of deep breaths. And sometimes that means that you have to press your heels to the mat, so you feel sort of tension across the pelvis, in the legs, this effort. And when you release, hopefully the low back feels much better. Remembering you can use a bolster or cushions underneath the backs of the legs. We're going to cross the arms over the body and let the fingertips drape towards the floor as well, to feel that space between the shoulder blades find its way towards the mat as well. Here, perhaps gently rocking the nose from side to side or waving the nose from side to side. We're going to uncross our arms, cross them the opposite way and do the same thing. Drape first, release the weight of the arms across the body and gently wave the nose from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, you can release the arms away from the body, palms turned upwards. If your legs are on the mat rather than on support, make sure they're wide with the feet turning or falling out to the sides. See if you've got the sensation of the shoulders being close to the ears, and if you do, you can lengthen them slightly away from the ears. Gently roll the nose from one side to the other again. Doesn't have to go to a full twist, it's just a releasing motion. Bringing your head back to the center. And here, you're going to feel the body beginning to surrender downwards. Going to feel the support of the earth underneath the body and all of the parts that we can feel that contact. And with that support, we can have the sensation of letting go, releasing, surrendering our weight to the earth. Take one more conscious breath. Sigh out through your mouth. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. The features of your face to soften. The space between the eyebrows to spread. The area around the eyes relaxing. The tongue, the jaw releasing. Perhaps feel the fronts of the shoulders relaxing, releasing a little bit deeper, as if someone has just gently laid a couple of bean bags there or rested their hands there to encourage your chest to relax. Allow your breath to find a natural, deep, slow rhythm. Allow the body to relax deeper with every exhalation. gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your hands and your feet, rubbing your thumb over the rest of your fingertips. And then wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling your wrists and your ankles, waking the body up a little at a time. When you feel ready, you can take a deep breath in, stretch the arms and the legs. Maybe stretch the sides of the body. Ooh, maybe stretch the face and the yawn. And when you're ready, you can gather your knees in towards you. Just hug them, make any movements that feel good with your spine. In your own time, rolling to one side and just allowing yourself to rest on your side for a moment. And then in your own time, coming up into any comfortable seated position. We're going to bring the palms together and rub them vigorously to get heat into the hands. A little bit of movement in the arms. We're in no hurry here, so we can spend some time building that sensation of warmth, friction. And when you feel like you've got a little bit of warmth, perhaps, placing the hands over the eyes, feeling that warmth soften the forehead, the area around the eyes, linking into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down whenever you're ready to open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this first practice of the summer term. I hope it was just what you needed after our Easter break. And I look forward to seeing you next time.